In 1961, when President John F. Kennedy stood before Congress and boldly declared that America would land a man on the moon before the decade was out, the world was stunned. At that moment, the United States was trailing the Soviet Union in the space race. The Soviets had already shocked the globe with two milestones that captured the imagination of humanity: the launch of Sputnik, the world's first satellite, in 1957, and the flight of Yuri Gagarin, the first human to orbit Earth, in 1961. These events didn't just prove Soviet technological power, they challenged America's very sense of pride and progress. The Apollo program was born from this pressure, a daring mission that demanded the impossible. Thousands of scientists, engineers, and astronauts dedicated themselves to one goal: land an American on the moon and safely return him home. The risks were enormous. Rockets had exploded, astronauts had died in accidents, and technology was still in its infancy. Yet the determination was unmatched. And in July of 1969, after years of trial, error, and sacrifice, Neil Armstrong took that legendary first step onto the lunar surface, speaking words that would echo through history: "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The Apollo era wasn't just about space, it was about proving America's leadership, resilience, and vision on a world stage. It symbolized the triumph of human courage and innovation. For a moment, the entire planet looked upward together, united by a single achievement. But the Apollo program didn't last forever. After Apollo 17 in 1972, humans never returned to the moon. The cost was staggering, public interest declined, and NASA shifted its focus. For decades, the dream of returning faded into nostalgia. The space shuttle became the centerpiece of exploration, satellites expanded our communication, and the International Space Station became a symbol of long-term human presence in space. Yet, for many, the moon remained a haunting reminder of what humanity once accomplished and then abandoned. Fast forward to today, and NASA is reigniting that dream. With the Artemis program, America is preparing not just to go back, but to go beyond. The mission is ambitious: return astronauts to the moon, stay longer, build a sustainable presence, and use the moon as a stepping stone for the ultimate destination Mars. Unlike Apollo, which reflected a singular Cold War rivalry, Artemis represents a new era of exploration. It isn't just about planting flags and racing adversaries, it's about discovery, inclusion, and preparing for humanity's long-term future in space. For the first time, NASA has committed that the very first woman and the first person of color will walk on the lunar surface. The moon, once a distant stage for competition, will now become a shared platform for diversity and collaboration. The technological differences are staggering. Apollo astronauts flew with computers less powerful than the phone in your pocket. They relied on manual controls, handwritten checklists, and courage to overcome the unknown. Artemis, by contrast, will be powered by Orion's spacecraft, new generation rockets like the Space Launch System, advanced space suits, and even concepts of lunar bases built with 3D printing technology using moon dust. What once seemed like science fiction is now engineering reality. The Apollo missions were fueled by Cold War rivalry, a desperate sprint to prove superiority. Artemis is powered by global cooperation. NASA is working with private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin, as well as international partners from Europe, Japan, and Canada. Together, they're constructing the Gateway, a space station that will orbit the moon and act as a hub for exploration, science, and future deep space journeys. And the experience of the missions will be vastly different. In the 1960s, grainy black and white televisions broadcast Armstrong's historic step to the world. Families gathered around living room screens, straining to see the fuzzy images from 240,000 miles away. In the 2020s, we will watch astronauts descend onto the lunar surface in stunning Ultra HD clarity, streamed live across millions of devices, shared instantly on social media, and celebrated in real time across the globe. The moment will not just be remembered, it will be experienced together, as if we are all standing on the moon. So, what does Apollo versus Artemis truly mean? Back then, it was about proving that America could win. Today, it is about proving that humanity can endure, expand, and thrive beyond Earth. From the race for dominance to the race for knowledge, the journey has evolved, but the dream remains the same: to look upward and take the next step. Perhaps the most exciting part is this: Apollo showed us that reaching the moon was possible. Artemis promises to show us that living and working on the moon is possible. And beyond Artemis lies the horizon that Kennedy himself hinted at: the journey to Mars. The Apollo program defined the past. The Artemis program will define the future. And maybe, just maybe, in our lifetimes, we will witness humans not only return to the moon, but take their first bold steps on the red surface of Mars.